Good morning, a pleasant welcome to Lntv News Live, 30 minutes of news from Liberia and elsewhere. Today is Thursday, August 26, 2021. I'm your presenter, Maxwell Johnson. In our top stories, President George Weah rallies Liberians to rise above prevailing challenges and help build a better nation. Philadelphia Central Church calls on its pastor, Franklin Norton, to face justice after allegedly raping a pregnant woman in Calcutta. Supreme Court suspends Councilor Ndumbusi Wambodike from practicing law in Liberia for 6 months. In away from home, authorities imposed a 24-hour curfew in the Nigerian city of Jos after 18 people were killed in a mass shooting on Tuesday. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the details of these stories. Welcome back to Lntv News. To the story now. USAID Mission Director says the United States will continue its support to Liberia in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking when he paid a courtesy call on Liberia's Health Minister Wednesday, USAID Mission Director Jim Bright said the agency was proud of efforts in combating the spread of COVID-19 in Liberia.
I know we have a very, very strong partnership between USAID, the U.S. government, and the Ministry of Health. First of all, I want to congratulate you on the outstanding job under your leadership the Ministry of Health has done in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic and having a great deal of success in keeping the country safe. That's not an easy job, but it's a job well done. And I'm also very pleased that USAID and other parts of the U.S. government have been able to be a major part of that and provide assistance along with the international community. So we very much, you can count on us to continue that support. I know the vaccine's starting to come in now, which is a major milestone, and we know that the challenge now is getting it, rolling out the deployment of the vaccine. And we look forward to hearing about your plans, the challenges, and how we can make the partnership even better going forward.
In remarks, Health Minister Dr. William Najala lauded the U.S. government and urged the Mission Director to continue the strong ties between USAID and the Health Ministry.
There's a lot of good things, and there's a lot of things that we need to improve on. But we hope your stay here will be as fruitful as your outgoing person. We work well with her, so we hope that we have that same level of collaboration and cooperation. There's still a few things on the table that we have to finish, but we appreciate sharing all of those things with you and seeing how we can go ahead. We know that USAID is supporting us on the vaccine campaign, especially with the 302,400 that we have received. We have many ideas in order to keep the momentum going. because people, after they don't see any deaths or any major thing happening, then they tend to relax again. And so the only thing that we have, our trump card, is to make sure that people receive their vaccines. And I think we should use it well, look at all the different opportunities as we go to the counties. We have thought about, I think the button, I forgot to wear my button today that I'm fully vaccinated. But, we don't, most of the funding we have, we don't have it for giving people money to take the vaccines. Right. But I think there's other ways that we can begin to motivate the people. First, we encourage them to take the vaccines, and then as things slow down a little bit, maybe some buttons, some tote bags, or maybe $1 scratch card, something that will motivate more people, especially as we go to the counties.
An ERBC investigation has shown significant progress made in the maintenance of the country's foreign service, with over $500,000 generated in revenue. This means the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has exceeded its revenue projection over $2 million. The probe also indicates that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Maxwell, has initiated reforms which, for the first time, include heads of foreign missions periodically making important decisions affecting the country's foreign policy and image. Our reporter also found what appears to be a myth that $1.5 million received from the government of Morocco was single-handedly withdrawn from the ministry's account and tampered with by the minister. The ERBC investigation discovered the said amount was deposited in the government's consolidated account, to which the minister is not a signatory. It was discovered that major decisions taken on the country's foreign front are made at the weekly senior management meeting, and that no decision is made unilaterally. Riwaji County Senator Community Wisa has hailed Liberians for their commitment to peace since the end of the country's civil war for the last 18 years. Senator Wisa has also expressed hope that everything done to remedy any emerging crisis in the country will be done in the interest of peace. The Riwaji County Senator comment was contained in his flagship message to Lntv Tuesday.
We had 14 years of war where 250,000 people were killed, where we destroyed our entire economy, our socio-economic infrastructure was destroyed. And after 14 years, we sat together, Liberians, and said, never again. So for 18 years since we signed that peace agreement, we have not reduced our flag as we did from 1989, December 1989 to 2003. Every Liberian appears to have committed themselves, and I'm very proud of our people that we've committed ourselves to resolving every conflict through peaceful means. Not that we haven't had conflict, but even when the conflict was of a legal nature, we chose to go to the courts instead of picking up guns. So if we had electoral disputes, we've gone to the court. It is a sign that we truly committed ourselves to peaceful resolution of our conflicts. It is my hope that everything we do as a people, as the government, that we would do it to ensure that our peace is maintained.
At the same time, Senator Wisa has paid tribute to former ECOMOG Force commander at the Tunji Olorin, who died over the weekend at age 77.
Our continent lost a great man at the Tunji Olorin. For most of the young people, they would not remember that there was something called octopus that was leading to a military intervention.
You mean the former post commander
of ECOMOG. It was that general who landed under fire as he was landing to take over command of ECOMOG. Those who were leading the octopus were firing at his plane. He landed, and he was the one who crushed octopus and led Liberia ultimately to the new generals following for elections to be held, for us to have elections. He passed away on Saturday, and it is a big, big loss for those of us who know the history, who know the role that ECOMOG played here. And ECOMOG played, this was a Nigerian general, so I'm sure our government is going to issue the appropriate statement. But I'm doing so in the name of those of us who worked with him, and to say our deepest sympathy to the people of Nigeria, to the family of General Olorin, to all Nigerians.
The Supreme Court has suspended Councillor Ndumbusi Wambudike from practicing law in Liberia for a period of 6 months. The Supreme Court ruling said Councillor Wambudike violated the Code of Ethics for lawyers by giving conflicting accounts of his date of birth, his age, and marriage certificate, describing it as inconsistencies. Chief Justice Francis Copper has since instructed the Justice Minister to take siege of the matter regarding the nationality of the former Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission Executive Chairperson. Justice Copper also ruled that neither the Bar Association nor the Supreme Court has justification over matters of nationality or citizenship. Councillor Wambudike's citizenship saga followed his nomination by President George Weah to serve as chairman of the National Elections Commission, where he provided conflicting accounts of his credentials and nationality during confirmation hearing at the Senate. Lofa County Senator-elect Brandon Samuka says his legal team will meet with the court to clearly understand what his legal disabilities are. In a media interaction, Mr. Samuka said his defense team will seek simple explanation without ambiguity which disability he needs to remove before being certificated.
Because I had expected to pay the first 50% and then be given the privilege to serve. Now they say there's a disability. So this week, Thursday, we'll have a meeting with our lawyers and the criminal court to ask them what are clearly the disability or disabilities that I'm faced with that I need to address as a remedy for me to get certificated. Let them tell me very clearly, let them tell our lawyers, nothing ambiguous, but very clearly, this is what Samuka needs to satisfy in order for him to be certificated. I'll be very pleased if that were to happen. Because right now, as it is, it simply says disability.
Disability, are you excited about that?
No, how can you? Somebody's trying to put a rope. Somebody's trying to put a rope around your neck and hang you in a gallon. Can you be satisfied with that? You cannot. But we have to respect their decision. It is human nature to get angry.
Were you supportive of their action?
No, I'm coming. That's what I say. It is human nature to get angry. Even in your own home, people get angry. Even your little kids get angry. So there's a human nature to that. And politically, there's a frustration that sets in at times when one feels aggrieved. It doesn't necessarily mean you agree with them, but you can understand why they're getting angry. And yes, I understand fully well their anger.
Meanwhile, Mr. Samuka said, though he does not agree with the court's ruling, but respect the decision of hopeful he will get certificated someday.
I believe that the mandate of the people on 8th December stands. That's what the people of Lufa have said. That's their election. That's our election. That's what the election laws require, and I've won it. Anything to the contrary will reflect very badly on our democratic system. I like to focus more on what Lufa County wanted. out of the December 8 elections, what Lofa County have decided out of the December 8 elections. I also want to look at the programs that Lofa County will be interested in for us to be able to represent them. And I don't want to make a comparison as to my situation to someone else. Having said that, I believe that our justice system has challenges. I also believe that that one has to respect the decision of the courts. I fully respect the decision of the courts, although I disagree with it, but I respect the decision. And it is my intention, along with my lawyers, to comply with whatever they would like us to do.
In response, Solicitor General Councilor Serena Cephas maintained that the Lofa County Senator-elect is a convict.
The sovereign government of the Republic. And I speak for the Republic of Liberia on a matter on a question of law. Sure. Because the office of the Solicitor General. We felt that it would be a disservice to the Liberian people to sit at the bar and allow a convicted felon to take office in clear violation of Section 50.12 of the Penal Code and Section 3.1 of the new election law, as well as 3.32 of the new election law. We said that would sound read by our president. And part of the questions that we were contesting internally, and we debated strongly, in which did the Solicitor General opinion clearly overriding the rest of the other parties, was that whether the Republic of Liberia could sue a separate and distinct independent body of its own. In this case, the National Election Commission, whether it could be a party. Our contention was that it's a separate and distinct body, though created by the government of Liberia through provided for in the 1986 Constitution, but it was solely independent. And so we indicated that the Election Commission should be made a party defendant in our petition for the right of prohibition. We're grateful that the court clearly addressed that, And
again, so you are saying that the National Elections Commissioner is a party?
There was a party in the petition for the right of prohibition as a party respondent vis-a-vis Rani Samka. Because our contention was that the Election Commission should not certificate him because he is a convicted felon. And the question is that the question we presented to the court was that whether somebody who has been a convicted felon incur what we call legal disability and therefore forfeits or is not qualified to occupy public office. The court has answered that.
Indeed, if you just joined us, a reminder to watching Lntv News Live, 30 minutes of news from Liberia and as well. My name is Maxwell Johnson. In our top stories, President George Weah rallies Liberians to rise above prevailing challenges and help build a better nation. Philadelphia Central Church calls on its pastor, Franklin Snodden, to face justice after allegedly raping a pregnant woman in Kakata. Supreme Court suspends Counsel Lumbusi Wambudike from practicing law in Liberia for 6 months. And away from home, authorities impose a 24-hour curfew in the Nigerian city of Jos after 18 people were killed in a mass shooting on Tuesday. We're taking a break. We'll come back. We'll bring you more stories. Welcome to Lntv News Live. To this one now. The Philadelphia Central Church in Calcutta says it is seriously disappointed over the news of alleged rape saga involving its senior pastor, Apostle Franklin Snodden. Recently, Apostle Snodden has been in the news for reportedly raping a 21-year-old pregnant lady. In a statement released Wednesday evening, the church said, as a body of Christ, it would not condone any act that undermines the true essence of Christianity. The statement signed by the presiding bishop of the Philadelphia Central Ministries International, Dr. George Harris, called for the alleged rape suspect to face justice. Apostle Franklin Snowden is currently behind bars at the Kakata Central Prison pending court trial. 12 graders across the country are now set and ready to begin preparations leading to the conduct of the regional WAS exams. On tomorrow, that is today, the Minister of Education will administer the national mock exams aimed at building students' confidence. Education Minister Ansel Sonin wants candidates turn up for the exams.
Tomorrow, Thursday, is the mock exam being administered across the country to all 42,012 graders, a private and public school. This is sponsored by the government of Liberia, and we are asking all students to make sure that scientific calculators that have all been supplied to the schools should be brought, and they should use it to get familiar with it in the actual examination setting so that they are not novices when they come to the actual exam week after next. Just want to encourage them to come and be on time, and there are two exams, the English exam and the mathematics exam. We expect those two exams to give the students a little feed of what it is to really take these exams. Since they took it in 9th grade, this is the next time they are taking it, and this is WAS. So I'm hoping that they have all prepared themselves. And to be on time, one of the most important things about examination is to be on time. When you are on time, you get to the place of the test, you settle down, and then before you are seated. So I want to encourage every student across the country. Now I want to also ask all my ministers who have gone to different places, to Basso, to Grand Dealer, to River G, to Lofa, to Nimba. I want to encourage you to be careful along the road. Please be careful, and when the exams are administered, we look forward to seeing you by the weekend to bring all of the answer sheets back, and we'll give it back to Wire.
A local businessman wants government to prioritize investment in the agriculture sector to boost empowerment in the country. National Toiletries Incorporated Executive Director Foma Trawale made a call Tuesday when he launched new products for his company.
In addition to the government of Liberia and including the people, that we should always prioritize our own business as we're trying to do, because the government have 85 or 75% share with the market share. So if they put their most attention to the local producer, being Liberians or non-Liberians, they will give more strength to our economy. The people that's working, even they are taking $50 or $100 or $200, $1,000, the fact that they are not home, they are doing something, it will reduce our poverty rate. It will also reduce our arguments, on a hotter shop and a t-shirt, and it will really help. Like for example, like I was talking about agriculture, if the government set a date that every ministry is compulsory to be part of the agriculture. In terms of, like, for example, we have Kipman. Kipman is known to be a cassava making farm. If we decided where every government's employee should spend of dollars of their meal in Friday, for example, it's a weekend begin, that we will call it to the pay and pay for the cassava, because cassava is not something that people cannot eat it. I think that also that puts you able to help that country. So we need to come up with something that, recommendation to the government that indeed that they can able to put some mechanism together that to empower agriculture. If you see many people not going to the agriculture farming because they are not seeing the quick return, during these days, when the war pains were here, they were giving us finance, and also they were buying the produce.
For his part, the Special Assistant to House Speaker Dr. Baffa Chambers, Peter Clark, lauded Mr. Trawale for his efforts in the Liberian business community.
What they have been doing, we went through the corridor of the factory, and we saw new machines being brought in that will be producing the bigger toiletry to the common ones. Obviously, this young fellow has a vision, and I think in my mind, all of us have to rally around him. How do we do that? In the past, we have not been using these toiletry, and so for that, it was hard for people to buy them. There were few supermarkets have been, selling them. But today, 75% of the population here in Monrovia is using these dormitories. So,
and away from home now, authorities in Nigeria's Central Plateau State have imposed a 24-hour curfew in the state capital Jos after gunmen killed at least 18 people during a raid on Tuesday night on a mainly Christian community. Some reports suggest the death toll is well over 30. Officials say 10 suspects have been arrested in connection with the latest violence on the outskirts of the city. The state has seen years of frequent daily communal clashes. There has been growing tension in recent weeks following the killing of dozens of Muslims in the state capital. Witnesses and officials say the attackers stormed Yawan Zagam community in the night, moving from house to house, shooting and hacking people to death, as well as setting homes ablaze. But on that foreign note, that's how we come to the end of this edition of Lntv News Live. Before we go, a recap of our major stories. President George Weah rallies Liberians to rise above prevailing challenges and help build a better nation. Philadelphia Central Church called on its pastor Franklin Snodden to face justice after allegedly raping a pregnant woman in Kankata. Supreme Court suspends Councilor Dumbusi Wambudike from practicing law in Liberia for 6 months. And away from home, authorities imposed a 24-hour curfew in the Nigerian city of Jos after 18 people were killed in a mass shooting on Tuesday. Thank you so much for viewing. Thanks to our editors and reporters for making this edition a success. Join our updates at 12, 2 and 4 Wednesday. Join us tonight at 8 p.m. for another round of news bulletin. On behalf of the entire news team, I've been your presenter, Maxwell Johnson, bidding you a very good day from Painesville.
A promising future for your kids certainly depends on the learning ability that will inspire sound childhood education from a prestigious and conducive academic institution. Yes, the Yei War Academy, situated along the Ravensfield Highway in the Aratu community, is indeed that ideal school. At Yei War Academy, we are prepared to give your kids sound academic education to prepare them as great future leaders. We operate from nursery, kindergarten, and elementary. Our school is up to date and very conducive for your children's comfort. Our classes are spacious and well ventilated. We have a state-of-the-art computer lab for our students at all levels. No doubt, our outdoor playground is very ideal and safe for your kids. Better still, the indoor PlayStation could just do the magic for the kids, just in case the weather is not favorable. At Yei War Academy, we have trained and professional staff to teach your children and take care of them with ease.